Let's dive in, talk about what does this rate cut from the Fed, from the Federal Reserve, mean in general, and what does this mean for Bitcoin? Now, if you have been following my channel a bit, maybe the news a bit, a couple of days ago, I spoke about how Donald Trump's impact is going to be on Bitcoin, mostly probably about some macroeconomic decisions where he's going to push for a strong economy because, in my personal belief, that's going to be his way of getting reelected. And I also think if the economy stays strong, Trump has very good cards in getting reelected. And whether that's good or bad, we're not going to discuss here. It's just some facts and figures. And we saw the pressure he has been putting on the Federal Reserve in doing a rate cut. And so for those people that don't really understand what this means, understand it this way. Any price in the world is about supply and demand. That's how every price gets created, right? Don't listen to anything else. Price is all about supply and demand. Now, if a demand stays same, but the supply goes up, automatically prices will, if the demand goes up, demand goes up, demand goes up, but price stays, supply stays, prices will go up. Why? Because you have more demand, same amount of supply, well, more and more want to buy something, so prices will go up. Now, what has happened? Well, if you the interest rates, in this case, the Fed, if they lower interest rates, well, there's more money. It's easier to get money. It's cheaper to get money. So there's simply more demand because suddenly there's more money around. And with that, supply stays the same. Well, then demand goes up, supply stays the same, prices go up. And so at the end, that's exactly what Trump wants. He wants real estate to stay stable or go up, stocks stay stable or go up, and probably also Bitcoin staying stable and going up. Why? Well, simple. There's more money. People are more liquid. It's easier for them to get money. They don't have to pay it back that fast. And automatically, it goes into all kinds of asset classes with this also, obviously also in Bitcoin. And we've seen this. So I spoke about this actually prior to the decision of the Feds. So if you watched my last video, this was prior. And in there, I discussed how powerful this could be and what this might mean. And now we have this. And what did we see since then? Bitcoin went up over 1,000 points. This is quite a lot. So over 10% since the decision, and Bitcoin is back up in 10,500. And so now obviously the question, and this is the major question now, is what does this mean going forward? And obviously there's very few factors where one factor has such a huge impact on any kind of asset price, and it is interest rates. These interest rates are super powerful, and we cannot deny the US is still the major player in this entire field. And so I do believe over the entire next year until the next election, the entire economy is going to be a bit of a playing ball of the election because that's going to be key. Trump wants to have the economy be strong, and Democrats are probably going to want to kind of hinder him a bit so that people are a bit more skeptical. It's going to be this back and forth. And this is going to be the key thing because I do believe we might not see another rate cut. We might see one, but I don't think so. But we are unlikely going to see another rate raise. And actually, it's been the very first time in the history of Bitcoin that we have seen rates being cut. Because so far, since the time that Bitcoin got created, always rates have been increasing because the economy had to kind of work towards, have to be careful with inflation, had to have some buffer in, so that there could always be some rate cuts coming in the future, just like right now. So it is something to really pay attention to and to really consider in your entire calculations of where you see prices going. Generally speaking, the lower interest rates, the higher asset prices. And so I do think that we should be bullisher than ever before on Bitcoin prices. Why? Well, a lot of fundamentals are very, very strong. A lot of the pricing models, stock to flow, one that I discussed today with an entire group, and one indicator compared to fiat prices, very, very powerful as well. And all of those show a very clear direction for Bitcoin at the moment, and that is upwards. Now, obviously, that doesn't promise anything. It just says so. Stock to flow predicts around 19 to 20,000 by the end of the year. I personally think we're not going to see an all-time high this year, but who knows? Right now, maybe there's more and more hype, more and more bullish segment coming in. So this could be very, very strong and could be very interesting. The key in those times is to never buy when there's just another jump up. don't create FOMO. Don't have FOMO in there, fear of missing out, but be really, really cool in those times. And rather buy when there's setbacks. So a good time was 2-3 days ago to buy, and now to just go with the flow and keep this going. What I would love to hear from you maybe in this very brief video at the end is, what do you think about the interest rates there? Do you think this was just temporary? Do you think it's going to go back up? How do you see interest rates are going to impact Bitcoin in general? Do you rather think then people are going to go away from Bitcoin, away from gold, go into cash flow producing assets like stocks, real estate, bonds, and so on? How do you see all that? And that's definitely going to be something that's really, really interesting in the entire concept to kind of discuss and talk about. Let me know in the comments below. I would be very much interested to hear your feedback on this. I will read through those comments. I'll bring them into the next lives. And then from there, we can always see what are the interesting topics to discuss about. So with this, see you at the next video. Yours truly, Julian.